Welcome everyone to Tuesday Talks, this show that we do every other Tuesday when not playing the campaign that Dave's running on the other Tuesdays.
Yeah.
So what do we do here on Tuesday Talks? Really anything to do with D&D, but recently we've been running a whole series of world building events where we kind of come up with something that hopefully you can use in your current games, in your campaign. Just something you can basically take and drop into your world. We've skinned the hub, right?
Yeah, the hub. So far, we haven't gotten any official votes on actually naming it, which we may do later when it all comes down to things. But yeah, I mean, we want to give you a tool pack that you can use that you don't have to think about, really. You're like, these guys have already done it for me, so I can just plop and play, basically. So, or take us whatever you want to out of it, and yeah, do what you want to with it is what we like to say.
Yeah. So definitely, what we've been doing is bit by bit, and if you want, check out some of the other videos. Most of them are up on YouTube for your viewing pleasure, where we started the hub, where we've come through there, we've made some factions, we've started to work on an open air market for it. So just a lot of little bits.
Yeah, I mean, we even have a dungeon for it and stuff like that. And today, we decided, we need a meeting place for adventurers and whatnot. And what better stereotypical meeting place than your good old tavern and inn? And specifically, on our map, we have a specific place for that, which is number 3. I will zoom in for you people. And number 3 is located
right by the bridge.
Right there by the bridge, as well as our open air market. This other stuff is like government, this, that, and the other. So we won't worry about that right now. But specifically, we're going to worry about this little inn and tavern, which is stated over here as inn and tavern for travelers. Now, mind you, we have another inn and tavern across the bridge on the other side, number 13, which is an inn and tavern, or just a tavern that is a local pub for locals and stuff like that. So we probably won't be covering that one today, but we want to map out the other one specifically.
Yeah, so the inn and tavern for travelers, the way we kind of thought of this one as far as that goes, and the difference between the two is one has like a hotel basically attached to it and the inside of it, but it also still has everything else that a tavern would have. It has the drinks, it's got place to eat, it's probably got entertainment. The other one is like the local dive bar or the local establishment that the hardworking lumber mill people and everything would probably go to hang out. They're not bothered by the merchants and stuff that come and go, and probably go to the nicer, inn and tavern that has rooms and everything for them. They're gonna go here and relax and talk with their friends and have a good time, have some cheap spirits and listen. And it's gonna be one of those places that when you walk in as a traveler, the entire room goes silent and looks over. Like, what's that guy doing here?
Yeah, what's that? You should be across the bridge to the other place.
Yeah, not necessarily unwelcoming, perhaps. We haven't gotten there. But for sure that most wouldn't go here unless they had particular business or they're meeting a local.
New people, for sure. So I guess we should go to our official document then.
Yeah, for sure. Let's take a look at what we've got there. So we're going to look at the inn and tavern in particular here that we're going to work on. Let's just make this inn and tavern for now. This one sheet will be our spot for that. Yeah. So we've set out, and so Dave and I are working on a tavern supplement to release to our patrons and to put up on TTRPG and stuff, where we've done quite a bit of the stuff, but we kind of set it up in this format where we know the prominent NPCs there, as far as, you know, like who owns it, maybe who the main bartender or bartenders are, what server or servers there are, security, patrons, like anything that we think are like going to be necessary for this location, we put those there. Then we put a series of rumors, like things you can find out by hanging out in this tavern or talking to the people in the tavern, that may readily have, or even rumors about the tavern or the people that work there. And then usually come up with some sort of menu, some basic ideas of what do they serve.
Yeah, what they serve, what not only food alone, but also drinks and stuff like that. Something to give you extra flavor, you know, than your typical, I'll just take an ale and I'll just take bread or rations. You know, something to give you an extra additive to your world setting and stuff like that. Because, you know, just like the real world, there's a plethora of food and drink and stories behind everything, you know. So, and that could lead into a venture plot to go find, you know, the missing barrels of, you know, who knows what dwarven brew or whatnot, because the Inn and Tavern doesn't have it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where we're at. And if you're here live with us in chat, feel free to drop in your thoughts of, you know, what you think either the name of this tavern should be, or names of any of the NPCs, or maybe just some spicy little information that you think could be useful or interesting to toss in.
Absolutely. I mean, because sometimes we don't come up with the best names, and a lot of times we use a fantasy name generator. And if you've ever used that system, it's useful, but there's some questionable stuff on there that you're like, what? But yeah, if please feel free. We are totally open to any thoughts or processes about what we're talking about. So I guess we should get started officially.
Yeah. So what usually we do is we have a brief description of what the inn would look like, or what's the feel of the area. So, I mean, we do know that based on the map, this is located in the heart of the town, at the end of the main bridge that spans our river here. So,
and it's located right next door to the town hall and across the way from the temple, shrine, and church.
So, the other thing to think about here, and whenever you build any of your inn and taverns, is what are your buildings going to be built of? What is the local resource? We've already kind of established that the hub here has a large amount of lumber used. So more than likely, we're looking at lumber. It is near mountains too, so there can be stone buildings in this city.
So I think this particular place should be, you know, like a stone foundation, like the first floor stone, and then the rest of the floors go up that are made out of the. Now here's the question though.
Yep.
Did the owner spend the money to get our special wood because it's resistant and all that other happy stuff?
I would think that this inn, out of the two inns that are there, is more likely to have that.
Okay.
It is kind of like the tourist destination one, right? Mm-hmm. It's the spot where the merchants go. So he probably charges more, and
for sure.
B, you know, it gets a little bit more income anyways because it has the room rent part out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let's, in the back of our minds,
yes,
think of what do we want to call this place, but we'll get there.
Okay. I've got some interesting names pulled up.
Okay. I mean, you can hit me with them.
We've got the Better Tavern, the First Fork, the Dazzling Owl Inn, and there's a few others.
So far, that one's better.
Yeah, I like the Dazzling Owl Inn. So maybe
Dazzling Owl.
Yeah, the Dazzling Owl.
Okay, let's put that down there.
And it kind of fits with the region too, I think. So it's a better than this other one that they have down, the Annoying Deer.
Yeah.
So,
no, the Dazzling Owl sounds kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some kind of like owl plaque or whatever worked in out front to.
What if it actually? Yeah. What if it was like an actual statue of an owl?
Yeah.
And maybe due to magic or whatnot, the eye is actually sparkled.
Yeah.
And that way you could
magic. Glass. Yeah. I mean, you could not too tough there. Stone foundation and first floor. Now, how high are we thinking this? Is this a 2-story building? Is it bigger than that? I figure the first floor is definitely your tavern part.
Yeah,
like your food and drinks.
And I think where this place is at, because it's in an elevation, unlike where I live in Houston, is flat. I think because the mountains and whatnot, this definitely has a basement. So I think that's where they keep, their storage items and stuff like that. Then and maybe even the kitchen is in the basement and stuff like that. And then their first floor is like the tavern part, where you have the entertainment and you have the bar and you have the tables and stuff like that. And then I think when we go higher up, I think that's when we get into our rooms, or not only guests,
sounds good.
But
are we looking at 2 floors? Are we looking at a 3rd floor?
I think we're looking at a 3rd floor, maybe. I mean, I don't know if we want to push it to 4. But
no, I think 3 is probably a good one.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a town.
Yeah.
Local wood. Should I say local magical wood?
Yeah, we haven't officially named it yet.
Okay, let's just stick with that for now. And obviously with these, you can alter any of that for your taverns. Okay, so in the center of Hub lies this tavern, built with stone for the foundation and first floor, with the 2nd and 3rd floor being made of the local magical wood. It is situated on the western side of the river, right at the end of it's here. Overlook river or the city center. How far? Getting
you need to
over there.
Drop it
Let's
down
see.
some.
Made of. Okay.
Yeah, made of. So for those that are new here and watching, sometimes we have to play around with the OneNote that we are using to get it all in frame, as well as sometimes I have to actually, sync it up again. But majority of the times, we make it work. So, for those also that don't know, in our past creations, this area is known for their magical wood that comes from a ancient war with this entity, and the land not necessarily has been cursed. Parts of it has, but the other parts have been magically enhanced to give the local trees and the magical properties that resist all kinds of things, from fire to water to damage. And it is highly prized and highly kept secret. And this entire town and industry is built around that particular magical tree.
All right. Okay, so there a statue of an owl is carved out of wood with glistening, sparkling eyes that almost seem to follow those who draw near.
Oh, I like that. Like that.
Ending above. There's the door. There's maybe some sort of awning, and on top of that, there's this owl that sits there and has these eyes that, whether just by good craftsmanship or magic, maybe no one really knows. It seems to almost follow those who are coming up near.
Yeah.
I think that, at least for the starter of this, is probably a good enough beginning of description.
For sure.
Our descriptions for our taverns in our supplement are quite a bit longer. Kind of give you maybe that what you would read sort of effect that you would get like at a from like a supplement that D&D prints or something, you know. Those text boxes where you're like, oh, come on in.
And ta-da! Yeah, for sure.
And maybe we'll get more of that because we need to get the feel of this. So I'd say, who owns this place?
Yeah, that is a good question. So, I can't pull it up right now, but you could go to our tables and we could find out which species.
Yeah.
I cannot share that with y'all watchers because it's on our OneNote, and if I start messing around with it, it will get confusing.
Where do you have the tables located?
It would be under our Marosia stuff.
Roll the Marosia. There we go.
Yeah.
Tables down here. Okay.
Yep.
Species. Do you want to do the rolling or?
Yeah, I can roll, and you can tell the watchers what we are doing.
Okay. So we have a table here that has like species. We put from basically 1 to 60 are common species using a D100 roll. 61 to 90 are uncommon, and then that 91 to 100 are rare species. And then we have tables broken down to what we consider common, rare, whatever.
So I rolled a 71.
Okay, so it is an uncommon species. So that's a D20 roll to determine what that is.
And out of all things I rolled a nat 20.
Okay, so a tiefling.
Ooh, that was interesting.
Yeah, so we're looking at a tiefling.
Okay, let me go to the name area. Nope, that's the wrong name area.
Well, did we want to roll for the gender as well? So
yes, for sure, because I don't know if I like some of these names.
So give me a 2d6 is what we have for our gender.
There we go. Oh crap! I'm rolling high today. 12.
Huh. 12 is a special condition.
Okay.
So whether the character is born of one sex with opposite genitalia or no genitalia, whatever, up to the player and DM. So a questionable, like, or trans or something like that, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So, okay, so I guess let's find out how old they are.
Yeah, so here's the thing, right? It's probably an adult.
Yeah. So
which is an 8. It's an 8 thing range. So just roll a D8. And
okay.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find. May have to get rid of some dice here. Start over. I need a D8. We're using a digital dice roller known as Dice 3D. Yeah, it's okay. Like any other digital dice roller. So roll to 5.
Yeah. All right, 5. It would be a middle-aged adult.
Oh, awesome.
Okay. So,
all right.
Cool. Let me get back to our thing here. So we have here the owner is middle-aged tiefling. Now, which way do you want to go with that? Do we want them to be just like a questionable, like, asexual sort of thing?
I think so.
Or,
I think so.
okay.
I think they don't care. They are who they are because they are them. They are
like a they them sort of
almost. Yeah, I think so. I mean,
idea. I don't know if asexual is the right term for that, but
yeah.
I'm not trying to offend. I just I was
exactly.
trying to think off the top of my head, like, which way we go with that. Maybe we just put they them in there instead, because that will kind of define that thing. Which the feel.
Yeah, exactly.
So now we just need a name, and I mean the thing with tieflings is a lot of them go by like a feeling,
Yeah. So I've got one that kind of sticks out with me.
Okay.
Zerthus. Zerthus.
Okay, so Zerthus is the owner. What are we thinking about them? Are they from the area and they just built and own a tavern? Are they maybe a former merchant? I mean, they're middle-aged, so they're getting up there in the years. Not overly so, but they're getting up there. Were they wealthy, and this is like an investment sort of retirement situation that they've got going on here? Or, what are we thinking?
So we've got the big city. And maybe they came from the big city many years ago. And just for the sole purpose, because the magical trees and this, that, and the other, And maybe they worked in the lumber industry or whatnot for a little bit of time, and then just decided they loved the hub and loved the community, and just had enough money to build their own inn and tavern and use that very wood that they initially came here to seek.
Did they work in the lumber industry in the big city or up here?
I'm almost thinking they were a trader.
Okay, so a merchant sort of thing.
Yeah, like they came up here to do trade and to, ship.
Okay, so they'd be traveling back and forth.
Yeah, import, export,
So, which makes sense. I mean, that was kind of my thought, is if they were maybe an outsider or something, they probably had some money, which you definitely could make as a merchant, as long as you're good at it, going from the hub to the big city, selling the wood and wares, making contacts and everything. So
yeah,
traveling back and forth from the hub and the big city. They loved the hub and the more small town feel.
And maybe because of their import-export trade business, maybe they thought it was a good place just to set up as a base camp, or not only, to do future trade, but also maybe to do other types of trade, like information or other goods and services and things of that nature.
I like that. Let's get back to that in just a moment here.
Okay.
Sorry, I've been running around all morning. I have not had breakfast.
Oh, crap.
So I'm snacking as I go.
Yeah.
So I eventually decided to build a tavern here, but then I started thinking about it. He was a trader, a traveler, merchant. Did he build this, or did he just buy it? Like, was there already something here? Whether it was the Dazzling Owl or something else.
Could have been something else.
I'm thinking probably something else. So I'm thinking instead of just build, he bought.
Yeah.
And probably made some improvements to the place.
Absolutely.
But he bought this, and that's what he's doing there.
You know what would be interesting? What if it was an old like guild lodge that they had, they moved on for whatever reasons or whatnot, and it just fell into disrepair, and no one wanted to, have it upkept or whatnot, and he felt that, hey, I could buy the place, I could fix it up, I could make it into something again for the public, not for, guild members and stuff like that. So, and maybe he had connections because he worked in that industry.
I mean, it makes sense he'd have connections up here anyways from moving back and forth, and he knows the wood and all that. Yeah. All right. And then you were saying that he has used this as kind of a base of operations or central location. In particular, possibly other things than just trading goods.
Yeah.
More information and things like that. So we do have factions that we had come up with for the hub.
Yeah, we've got 2 right now. So
yeah,
well, technically 3: the druids, and then we had the rangers, and then we had
the Black Sigil, which is the mercenaries.
Yeah, mercenaries.
We have the Midnight Dawn, which is like they're mainly, I think, focused in the big city.
Yeah, they are.
But they are like kind of the evil antithesis. And then there's the Divine Cabal, which is the druid group of the area. I mean, and then of course there could be more, but I'm just curious whether we wanted to tie him.
Well, here's the thing. I think he's like, I wouldn't say head of a thieves guild. He could be, but I think he's more on the lines of smuggling and information gathering, and he's the go-to guy.
They have ties with the local thieves guild and that of the big cities. So perhaps his merchant work was always more of a front as well. Like he sold lumber, sure. They sold lumber, sure. But they also did a lot of the smuggling, like you're saying, or passing information back and forth between the two, making the coin that they do, and have figured out, A, I want something stable that I'm not traveling all the time, and B, I get just as much information just by having all the travelers come and go than I ever did just by having to talk to everybody and get all this info.
So I hate to say this, but my brain is drifting toward that concept of, I think he's a lot like, what's his face from John Wick? The hotel owner?
The hotel owner?
Yeah. Like, this is maybe neutral ground. This is, where everybody can come to meet, to not, backstab each other, and maybe, like some of the rooms upstairs or whatnot are like for private meetings and stuff like that. So
okay. So I was found they get good information. Travelers think Dazzling Owl has come to be. Found elections to meet. Conduct. Process. I like that. All right. So for sure. So this is the thing we like to build into is like people have secrets. People have things that are going on, right? Like we want them to feel real. We want them to have something that adventurers can find out. So on the surface, Xerthus is this kind of charismatic tavern owner who, if they are even on premises at the time, would be nice and happy and talk to them and everything. But if they dug deep or if they talked to the right people, they might find out that Xerthus is a trader of information. that their tavern itself is more than just a place for people to stay. It's a place for people to conduct business safely between these opposing groups. I love that. And that's the thing, like, I think when you're building taverns and inns and trying to have a world that your players are gonna jump into and get excited about, having stuff like this that are like little secrets behind it, and having, like, what is that? A paragraph you could have written up about a tavern owner. And if you think about it, where do all adventurers go? They go to a tavern. Like in D&D, when you play, there's always a tavern scene. If not one every single session, there's definitely some quite frequently, because where else? They don't have a base of operations. They have to go to taverns.
And so I hate that stereotypical, oh great, we're going to start in another inn and tavern. Oh, you're going to, there's such a negativity aspect around it in a tavern, oh, you're going to do that again. You think about it, in real life, you don't go hang out, in a parking lot. You go to a restaurant, you go to a pub, you go to, someplace to eat, drink, and be merry at. This is what inns and taverns and the like is all about, is to go socialize, have fun, enjoy the atmosphere and stuff like that. And I've told many people, DMs and players alike, that I've run entire games where the venture stayed in an inn and tavern because they were so fascinated to know who's doing what, who's who, and this, that, and the other. And plenty of things for them to do in such an environment. And that's what you've got to set up as a DM, is have that environment where it's not just cardboard, not plain vanilla, I serve L, what do you want? Bar fight, now get out.
Yeah.
That may be fun once, but that's not going to be fun over and over and over again. So.
Correct, yeah. Cool. For sure, you want to have your world feel exciting and interesting. And what better way than just put a little bit of effort, or steal this effort that we're putting in. And just give your players something cool. Let's roll again. Let's move on, because we're already 55 minutes in or so, and we're okay. Let's get, so give me a D100 again.
D100. Here's my D100 dice. Bouncing. 56.
D6. We are just, it's a common, which makes sense. So a D10. Of course, if you're building this in your world, right, you build it as you like. You don't have to randomize. We like to randomize because, the world should have variations. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that ends up you get the same thing, but that's the same in our world, right?
But yeah, exactly. And it depends on, like Bill said, your world setting. If it's filled with humans, well, guess what? That's easy. So, but if you have like we do, is we don't want to leave the options of like, we're only limited to this, that, and the other. No, all the species of D&D, are in our world, stuff like that, But, sometimes in others, and especially in Morosia, depending on where you go and stuff like that, you'll find more of this and less of that, so on and so forth. And, so I rolled a 4, by the way.
4. We're looking at half elf. I love half elves.
Awesome. Okay, so let's do gender and age.
Yep. Go ahead and that's a 2d6 for gender.
Okay, we already got one. I mean, I don't know if we want another one, but I don't think that's, let's do 10 instead.
10. Female. So we have a female bartender.
Okay.
How old?
How old is the question? I usually do a D8 for that.
Yeah. So. Yeah, the adulthood age range. Yeah.
5 again, I think.
Okay, so another middle-aged.
Okay, kind of makes
half-elf.
sense. Kind of makes sense. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Maybe she's been with them for numerous years. Okay, now I need to go to half-elf. Elf? Gonna do they definitely don't make it easy here. How about Jilzira? Jilzira.
Yeah. Zira, or we're just gonna put Jill over here in quotation marks because that's what she'll go by. All right, are we just going with the first name? And I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I think we can just go with the first name because that's kind of all they're giving me right now. And
that's all she would give.
Yeah,
as well. Whether she, even cares about her familial name or not, but she wouldn't tell it to necessarily anybody who's there. They just say, "I'm Jill," or Jilzira. All right, cool. So, what are we thinking about Jill?
So Jill has been with the Zethris for a while now.
Okay. So is she then a member of, one of the thieves guilds, essentially, like one of his pieces in his operation of information gathering and, all that? And it has been probably since before they made the bar itself?
I think so. Okay. I think Jill is definitely a major cog in Zerthus's major plan. Almost, Jill is Zerthus' second in command. I could almost see. What better place to put someone to collect information than a bartender?
Yeah, being one myself, you get all the dirt. You get things from everybody. You're there. You can hear the conversations. Some people will just tell you things that they wouldn't tell other people. It's a little bizarre sometimes, but it's a thing for a reason because it's true.
Yeah.
We're like a priest or a psychologist. We know lots of things, and usually there's that unspoken rule of we don't pass that on. But Jill here does pass some of it along.
Yeah, she does, especially the juicy bits of information.
So from the bar, she gathers information and coordinates network of information gathers, right?
Yep.
All right. Is there something juicy or something interesting beyond just the fact that she's kind of this shady thieves guild person? And the other thing we maybe want to include, I don't know whether we want to work on that today or leave that for other people or other times, is little descriptions about what they look like.
Oh yeah.
I think for today, let's worry more about the what's important about them, because like I said, we are running in a longer one, and so maybe we'll leave like the menu off for today, and we'll just work on the rest. And we'll get back to that because we still need to build this tavern, which is going to be the second part of this video. So if you stick around after our break, we'll be building this in Dungeon Alchemy, and that will be available for patrons and anyone who wants to jump in there. They can download that.
Yep. Okay. I think. Let's see here, Jill. Tidbits of interest.
For some reason, I kind of want her to have a kid. Like, often her child, which I don't know. Do we want to randomize male or female, sort of thing?
Yeah, and see how old the kid is.
Yeah.
For sure. Always. If you can't figure it out, always randomize.
Well, and that sometimes tells the story. It's
Also
odd
does,
how
yeah.
random tables can tell stories,
Yep.
or spark stories in your mind.
Absolutely. I wrote a 6 on gender.
Okay, so a little girl or a girl, but we don't know how little. So roll, just I guess the 2d10, and this will be. Or do you have?
Yeah, if you look off to the side.
Okay, I see children, category infant, toddler. I don't think she's got an infant.
Okay.
So
She is middle-aged. So
just roll a d10,
D10. Okay.
and I'll extrapolate.
Okay, that'll work.
Basically, like a 1 to 5, we're gonna look at young / preteen. Although I guess you could be even into.
Yeah.
All right, just what did you roll? And I've got. Let's see.
Okay.
1 to 3 will be young, like preteen, probably-ish. 4 to 6 will be teen, and then 7 up will be like young adult.
Okay, well, I rolled a 7. So.
Okay, so 7. So they got a young adult.
Yeah.
So they're already like of age now.
What Bill was saying earlier, tell stories, whatnot. This young adult could be the server.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Her daughter. Her daughter is one of the main. Okay, so that leaves at least one of the servers, and it is a bar. So quite frequently, there's probably more than one bartender. But given what this does, it's probably either Jill or Zerthus running the bar.
Yeah.
And then there's probably more than one server, which we may get into, or we may leave out other ones, but we already know one of them is a young adult, female half-elf, daughter, Jill. So what's her name? Master of names
Yes.
over there.
Please, watchers, feel free to drop in names and whatnot that you may feel that these people should be called. If not, then we leave it to the fate of Fantasy Name Generator, which I have one. Liznia, Liz Nia.
Okay, Liz. All right. Okay. So, does she know what goes on here, or is she just like she just works here? She makes her coin from working here. Doesn't know, doesn't care what her mom's up to and Zerthus is up to.
I almost halfway would say that she's been brought into the circle.
Okay.
Because she would be the most trustworthy out of anybody compared to total strangers. And maybe she's also looking for her own cut. Her own, secret stash or possibility of, venturing away from these people.
All right.
Making a name for herself.
Break out of this role and a step.
AKA future NPC to venture with. So.
Yeah.
Hey party, take me with you. So. I am useful. I can cook.
I think that's something she does anyways. Like she, when available, will go with people on like local adventures, knowing that that's a way she gathers information as well as experience to be out there and doing things. Another question we can ask ourselves is, do any of these people have partners? Like, are they married? Is Jill married? Is she a single mom?
No. Well, Jill. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know whether we want to do like a 50-50 roll or...
No. There is a table. I have a table.
Oh, go figure. There's a table for that. Okay. Family?
Yep. Should be married status or something like
Marital
that.
status.
Yep.
3d6.
Okay. Oops, sorry, watchers. Clicked the wrong button. Where is my dice roller? Need to add a dice.
You know what I do sometimes, Dave? When I need a dice roller, just use the D&D Beyond dice.
I know. I thought about opening it, but I've got this independent dice roller that I've had for like forever. So it just
okay.
And it doesn't tax my system too much as far as
certain
stuff. Yeah. I rolled an 8.
Okay. 8 will be single. So
okay, there we go.
Do we want to see if Liz is married or single?
I think Liz is an independent woman that doesn't want to be tied down to anything, just in case.
That kind of tracks. That's something that I was thinking with her. I mean, and I think depending, she may marry if she ran into the right guy that basically got her out of here, and
or even right female, that.
Yeah, that's true.
So because I think she's independent enough that she is open to any possibility anywhere, as long as it is a positive outcome. Anything negative, hell no. We're going to stab it with a pitchfork and get away from that situation as much as possible.
Now, again, the independence here is more just her ability to do what she wants and not be.
Absolutely.
All right. Do we want another server at this time, or do we want just
one more server? I think we need at least. Yeah. Okay, so I need to roll a D100. It is 51.
51 is common. So roll the D20. D10. Human. Okay. That makes sense. We need some humans. So we got a human. Gender. Where was that? Like something weird. Gender, there we go. The 2d6.
2d6. 4.
Okay. Male. So we have a male server.
And age is 2.
Off of what are we using? The adult.
D8.
Okay. So 2 is a young adult.
Okay.
So
awesome.
Also, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So young adult, male, human.
Okay,
young adult, human, male.
Why not? First words that come up. Well, not first words, but Alan Brent.
Brent.
It's actually, Alan is spelled Allen, or at least on Fantasy Name Generator it is.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a frequent way to spell it. So Alan Brent, I like that because this is like the first normal name you've come up with.
Yep.
So that it's
absolutely.
Zerthis, Zira, Liznia, and Alan.
Alan.
Breath of fresh air. Okay, so what's special about Alan?
He stands on the bench screaming his name. Alan! No. I think he's a local. Absolutely. 100% born and raised here in the hub. And he's just
not made for lumber work, right?
Yeah, definitely not made for lumber work. So
but he is personable.
Absolutely. I think he's good going, jolly, just that. Hi, welcome to the, Dazzling Owl. How may I be your assistants?
thinking perhaps he's just a little naive. So he really doesn't.
Yeah,
he doesn't know what's going on here. In fact, he is me when I was a server, right? Like you're just there, you don't know what's going on, you don't know, like the gossip doesn't really mean much to you. You're there to make money, to have a good time, to not have to work in the lumber mill.
and maybe the deal is not only he works there, but he also gets, free food and drink, which, he is like super happy about. So
yeah, or at least to a certain amount, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to get the, special of the day, but he's going to get, at least a free ale and some bread and cheese or something like that, or whatever, depending on what he does around,
Yeah, so he can often be found there as a patron as well, even if he's not working, because he'll be there having a couple beers and eating some bread and having a good time. All right, sounds good. Do you want to see if he's married?
Yeah, absolutely. This would be interesting. So what? 3D? Is it 3D or
3D6 was where we're at.
Okay. We have a 12.
12. He is married. Okay, cool.
Okay.
I like that. He is married. Is married. Now, here's where I also think something that you should do is think of something that you already have in your world that you can tie it into. So we came up with open air market. Yeah. Let's see who we got in there. Who might be? Let's see. We've got Toma Glun. That's elderly though. Let's see. Do we have? Gilly is a halfling. Not that we couldn't do a human halfling marriage.
What does Gilly do?
She's a soap maker.
Oh, interesting.
Cinder Soaps.
Yeah. How old is
hates the other soap maker she's a young adult female. Let's see. Sour and gruff, but does good work to support her family. She hates the soap maker that has a permanent establishment enough that she's willing to pay anyone to disrupt or cause problems to them.
I think she's a little too bitter to be.
I'm thinking a little too much here. I'm still looking. I guess we could.
She would belittle Alan often, so for not making enough money.
What about a female Goliath?
Oh, okay.
They're Volpine.
Okay, what does she do?
Has a candy shop. Sells a host of rock candy on sticks as well as those chunks. She makes all her own candies from scratch. One particular candy that she sells is from a magical berry that causes the customer to feel invigorated enough.
Oh, yeah, and she travels. She travels around the market.
She's like a roaming route. Yeah, she like walks through like the cigarette box in front of him with an old casino thing where she walks around with candies though.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they should be a match because I mean, maybe he just started working here.
Or this is where they met. I mean, that's a distinct possibility here. All right, so Inns and Taverns. So he's married to Thura Thulpine, the Goliath that walks around the open air market with her rock candy. I love it. I'm thinking maybe they met here while he works there and she's at the open air market. They're both locals or whatever, and so that's cool. I like that. Anything else we want to add in about Alan?
Oh, so Thur is maybe they don't have a permanent place to live. Maybe they are like up and coming newlyweds almost, that are just trying to make it in life. and would do any job, any whatever, just to, not so much get money, but to, to move up in the world, whether get a small apartment or
on saving up to buy us nearby. So currently, where do they live? Like, do they live here at the inn? Do they live with his parents or her parents or something like that?
Maybe they're on that, borrowed couch concept. Whoever can give them a place to live for the night, they stay at. They're like constantly moving, constantly, with their jobs and stuff like that. They're able to, make contacts with, whoever to give them a place.
I mean, that couch surfing thing is a little easier if you're single. Once you become a couple, and they're combining their income, so I think they'd have either a small apartment or a small room that they rent out of maybe someone's house nearby, or they still live with one of their parents. I think it's more akin than.
Okay. Let's not do the parent thing.
Okay.
That's kind of an easy way out.
They have a tiny room.
Yeah.
They rent.
Maybe above a stable or something like that, or.
Yeah. Well, we made the stable, and it didn't have. Oh, it does have rooms in it.
Yeah.
Tiny room they rent above the stable. I already said they're looking for something else. Okay, cool. So they're looking for something else. They stay above the stable. Cool. Let's move on. Security.
Yeah.
Security. Who do we have? Respect my authority.
Yeah. About to find out. Ooh,
Give us that D1 hundo.
77.
All right, we're going uncommon. This is D20 roll.
Bouncing a 3.
A 3 is a bugbear. That makes good security. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's see. Gender of the bugbear.
Yeah. 2D, 3D. No, which one?
2D6. Yeah.
2.
2 is a female. Okay. We got a female bugbear.
And 6.
For adulthood is also middle-aged. You like that middle-aged.
Oh.
Okay.
She came with them. She was their security from,
his guild thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's see here. Man, they don't give you very many options. Okay, another weird one. Bruvith. Bruvith.
Bruvith.
Maybe she goes by the nickname Vith.
That's kind of what I was thinking, actually. Yeah. All right, cool. So middle-aged, if I could spell.
Oh, do I need to scroll up? I think I need to scroll up now.
Yeah.
We have moved up into that. We're making progress.
So she traveled here to work with Zerfus from his city network. What do you want to do with Baru?
I think she's one of those to the point, no holds bar, honest. Not so much honest as far as, being,
That's what they think.
Yeah, we'll tell you what, yeah, exactly. No beating around the bush with her.
Makes sense.
And I'm gonna actually say she's devoutly loyal to Zerthus.
I like it. Anything special about that?
I think because of the devoutness, I think one reason why is that Berthas saved her life. Maybe she was vetted for the mines or however, or some, criminal element or whatever.
Gave her from. I mean, originally I had thought maybe she was an adventurer before, but maybe she was like a gladiator or like a slave.
Yeah.
Like a gladiatorial slave that he's able to free. He like basically bought her and freed her to work. So was able to save her from the gladiatorial slave rings. Whether that is legal or illegal, we haven't addressed slavery in this world, but perhaps maybe it's a illegal underground fighting ring, or maybe it is a state-sanctioned thing.
It did happen in the city, so
yeah.
And we know for a fact that from previous talks that the city is a den of corruption.
It is pretty much run by this this cabal of dark people who are looking to the Midnight Dawn, looking to utilize the power from the forests up here in the hub, amongst other things. Cool. Like that a lot. Now here's what I'm going to posit to you. We've come up with the main workers here at this tavern, and we've gone on for a good amount of time.
We have.
So I'm thinking what we do is we call it there for today, either to return to this in a future Tuesday Talks, or just maybe tease that, and if anyone wants the patrons and the rumors that they can be found here and all that, maybe that's something we release on Patreon. We'll see where we're at with people and what they're interested in seeing. But I think what we do is we take our 15-minute break now, and we come back and we'll fire up Dungeon Alchemy, and you can help me design the look of the Dazzling Owl.
As well as you watchers, if y'all have any input on what the Dazzling Owl looks like in Dungeon Alchemy, come back in 15 minutes and find out. So, see y'all in 15 minutes.